So a few years ago, I had a big friend group falling out, and I found out that they were basically saying I was a narcissist. I found this out mostly because they accidentally texted a group chat I was still in with this accusation. And I overthink, understatement of the century. So I figured, well, if the people who were my best friends, who knew me the most, were saying this about me, I owe it to them and myself to make sure I don't have an undiagnosed personality disorder. I talked to my therapist, who I've been with for many years. She said, "No, Anna, you don't have narcissistic personality disorder. That accusation gets thrown around a lot these days." But I thought, you don't know me. And I hired a psychiatrist who specializes in mood and personality disorders. Now, she was straight up. A personality or a mood disorder isn't something that I can evaluate in a single session. To be honest with you, it'll take months of evaluation, and I would like to work in conjunction with your therapist. Given that you've been seeing her weekly for years, her insight is gonna be invaluable. So I started seeing this psychiatrist, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually started getting really excited at the idea that maybe I was a narcissist, because that's a whole new vertical of content, right? It's a miracle that I've been on this platform for like 10 years and still have an audience, but if I'm a narcissist, that is such an edgy, cool place to be. Like, I think it really boosts the numbers. Think of the videos. Diagnosed narcissist talks about how they view friends. Diagnosed narcissist talks about how they view relationships. I'd click on that. I have clicked on that, right? I started outlining videos in my head. I started writing all the bits. I was so creatively enthralled. I would even take bipolar disorder, anything juicy. So finally I get to the point with my psychiatrist where she says, "In my estimation, you don't have NPD."
Oh, bipolar?
No.
Borderline?
No. You want a personality disorder?
I mean, I don't want it, but it'd be great for my career.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but in my professional opinion, all the symptoms you have point to complex PTSD.
What? That's not one of the cool ones.
Cool ones?
Yeah, that's like saying I have clinical depression or an anxiety disorder. Everybody has that now. It's not special. PTSD? It's 4 letters. I want the 3-letter one.
Okay.
I was really looking forward to being a narcissist.
Yeah, I'm being a tad silly, but there's a nugget of truth in every joke. I think I'm mostly disappointed because of course I have PTSD. That's so obvious. That's so obvious to me. I guess, the good news is this really explains my history of sleep disorders, because apparently it's linked to all that stuff like insomnia, night terrors, and exploding head syndrome. Seriously, Google it, it's fun. But for those of you who don't know, post-traumatic stress disorder occurs in people who have experienced or witnessed a traumatic event, series of events, or a set of circumstances. So in my case, obviously it was my sister's suicide as well as some other things that happened. But it often comes with recurring and intense thoughts and feelings related to your experience long after the traumatic event has ended, including intrusive thoughts, avoidance, distorted beliefs, etc. Unfortunately, I was reading that there's no permanently recovering from PTSD. You mostly manage the symptoms and build a life that allows your PTSD to go dormant inside of you. And the most highly effective treatment is cognitive behavioral therapy, so that you can build tools to aid you in healthy management of the disorder. In most severe cases, people may need to go on medication or attempt alternative therapies. But I think because I've been in therapy since I was 17, my PTSD has become highly manageable for me, except in moments when I'm really, really stressed out or under duress. But I think in addition to therapy, completely eliminating substances like alcohol or drugs have been instrumental in helping me stay out of episodes. So I guess I can move on from that friend breakup with the peaceful knowledge that, according to a professional, I am not a narcissist. I'm just someone who had a lot of trauma, who was going through a really hard time that activated that trauma, and the people I was with didn't fully understand. And look, if I'm being honest, I'm glad they didn't understand, because that meant they didn't have a history of death or suicide or anything similar, and I hope they don't, ever. I'm Anna Akana. Thank you to the patrons who supported today's video, and thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode. If you believe you're suffering in any way, whether it's from a traumatic event or just, life's average stressors, therapy has helped me so much. It has given me the tools I need to emotionally regulate and function and build a life that I love. BetterHelp's mission is to help make therapy more affordable and more accessible. Finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area, but BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and just by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. And look, therapy is kind of like dating, right? So if for any reason your therapist is not the right match for you, you can easily switch for free. Make meaningful change in your life today with BetterHelp. Get 10% off your first month by going to betterhelp.com/Akana or click the link in the description below.